Hello everyone, this is Jaya for the session of digitalization. Today we are going to discuss about what is its impact in today's business model, and with this we are trying to deal with an interesting case study which comprises of a QR code. So my first slide comprises of a scenario where there are two friends who have their own business in tours and travel, whose name is Bob, and second one is David. So Bob is earning less in his business, and David is earning more and more in his business. So what is the difference between in these two businesses? So David is using a digital way of doing his business, whereas Bob is using the traditional way of doing the method. But where in this particular scenario, David is earning more and more. Why? Because he's using a digital way. He's completing all the requests, complaints, query on time, and the consumer need not to wait for their services to be complete. And whereas he is keeping all his promises at the instant. Whereas Bob is struggling to get the services to be complete on time, and nowadays the people doesn't want to stand in the queue and wait for their services to be complete. That is why it is a lot more time consumption when you are using a traditional way of method, and that is why Bob is struggling more and more in his business while using a traditional way of method. Now, in my next slide, we'll try to understand what is the difference between these two methods. So, in a traditional method, there is more manpower is involved, the more time consumption is there, the costing is very high, the processing is very low, and the chances of errors is very high. Whereas when we look about the digital method, the manpower is less involved, the time consumption is very less, the costing is very low, the processing is really faster, and it has more and more accuracy when we are using a digital way of doing it. So, in our business in today's world, digital method is more and more important while you are doing a business on an online platform, and that has its own importance, has its own variation, it has its own impact on a business model. Whereas the traditional method doesn't have so much of luxury to do it, but the digital method has that luxury to complete it. Now, my next slide comprises of digitalization, which is how to define that digitalization. So, when we are talking about definition, it stands upon a four pillars, that is technology, data, process, and organizational change. So, when we are talking about digitalization, whoever the person is running the business on an online platform, the technology is always present there. So what does the technology do does in that business module is either it creates a new, or it modifies the existing technologies to make it more transparent for the consumers and as well as for the business. Second is the data. So when you are running a business, you have a lot of data regarding the brand, regarding the product, regarding your company. So you can accumulate those data, you can make a data analysis, you can try to understand where your product is standing in today's market situation. That is, you can do it online. You don't have to wait for it for having a couple of bunch of papers and giving you the figures. But you can do it online. You can compare each and everything according to your privilege. Third is the process. So this, we apply an automation process in a business to simplify the complexity of the business so that it becomes more and more easier or more and more transparent for the consumers. And last is the organization. When we are talking about an organizational change, so when a consumer requires a particular change in the particular product, so to improvise that or to make it more and more good for the consumer, you have to make changes in organization, you have to dedicate the certain things to certain people, and that makes an organizational change for that particular brand, because you need that it should be a very good improvisation for the consumer as what the consumer required from your product. So this is why digitalization is dependent on these four pillars, because if these four pillars are there, your business can run very, very smooth. Now, when we are talking about the importance of digitalization, because digitalization has its own value, its own impact. So when we are talking about the importance, there are 2 points which comes into my mind. That is, digitalization increases the efficiency, which you all know. And how does it increase the efficiency? Why? When you have a certain data or a records or anything, and it is kept on an online platform. So whenever some disaster happen, or if it is a theft or something losses happen, or even your system is not working fine, even that, you have a luxury to fix those things and you can retrieve the data as it is. While when you are doing in a traditional way, and when one paper is lost, you have to do it again, the whole process. But this digital tool has its own benefits, and that is the reason when your data is being corrupted, or it has been lost, or it has been anything, you have that luxury to retrieve it from an online platform, and that makes it a lower costing. But in a traditional method, it becomes more and more expensive. Second point which comes in my mind is the retention of the customer. Every business, I'm not talking about one business, I'm talking about different sectors of business. In every business, you require to retain your customers, whether it is a food business, whether it is a retail business, whether it is a wholesale market or anything. So whenever the consumer comes and he or she has some query or request about anything, if the representative is listening to that customer very proactively and trying to help that customer, so that customer he can retain us, and more important, when the customer sees that the person is helping him a lot, him or her, so he or she will recommend your website to other people, and there will be more and more repeat purchases. Why? Because the person has got a very good service from the representative, and that's what the customer requires. If if he or she is into a middle of something, and he or she is stuck in something, and the representative helps in such a way that it can resolve his issue. So the customer would be really, really happy. If I am into that particular phase, I would also be happy, because I also want my issues to be resolved if I'm buying something, or if that product is defective or something, it is a damaged product. So you have to return, and there are a lot of more steps into it when you're talking to a representative company, and you need an instant result. So these things are not available in a traditional way of method. Now, when we are talking about the examples of digitalization, digitalization has its own examples. Nowadays, we keep all the data online. We don't have to carry our important documents on hand. We can just project all when we are going on a meeting. We don't have a file or something in our hand. We always keep our laptop handy, so that it makes it easier to project your screen, try to make them understand what is you are going to have a meeting, or for a project or something, you can discuss it online. Even on calls, you can do it online. You don't have to go here and there. You can just have a call on a laptop also, and just make it more and more easier. That is why digital tool makes it more and more easier, the process for the domestic as well as for the business life. Why? Because nowadays, if we see in a domestic, the people doesn't want to carry when they are purchasing something. They always carry a card, or they have their wallets to transfer the payment to the vendor. Nobody is carrying so much of a hard cash to buy something. This is a major thing when we are talking about a digital tool, because it makes it easier for the people to buy the things, and they don't have to wait for something else in a queue to, okay, because earlier it was a case when people have to wait in a queue to buy something and give the money. But nowadays, when they buy something, they just scan it, and they just transfer the money to the vendor, and they can just move on. So that's the main thing of a digital tool, that they don't wait in a queues. Their services are done instantly. Nowadays, everybody wants their service to be done instantly. That is why digitalization has its own. That's why I'm saying it. Digital tool has its own impact, has its own importance, which when we try to describe between these two methods, digital and traditional method, everybody would feel the digital method is too good for the domestic as well as for the business life. Now we come to the advantages of the digital tool. So when we are talking about the digital tool, what are the advantages? So whenever you are buying or something and you're sitting at a home, so it's a time saving. You can have more and more details. You can get more and more understanding about the product. So when this time is saved, the cost saving goes hand in hand. This is because you don't have to travel here and there to get that product or to have an understanding of the product or the deals for that product. You can do it online. It has its own accuracy, which is more and more important in a digital tool because the errors should not happen in a digital tool. In a traditional method, there is a risk, a lot of errors to be happen, but in a digital tool this has a benefit that it is more and more accurate. Then in easy distribution, when you need to make them understand about your product, about your brand, you can just put it on a social media and you can grab a lot of viewers. Instead, if you're using in a traditional method, it becomes more and more tougher because every time you can't give that distribution easily. So a digital tool takes that easy distribution part also, which makes it aware to many of the people that your company or the brand has this type of ingredients or it has its own importance. So it can grab a lot of viewers. Secure, that what I told, that whatever the documents are there, it is about your product, brand, or your company details. They are all secured on an online platform and it never get lost. And lastly is the increase, that's increase in profits. And how would you do these when these points are there? So it increases in profits when you retain a potential customers with helping them with their queries, complaints, and even if they want something help from you, and if you're trying to help it in a very instant way, in a very polite manner, that makes that the customer come again and again to your website and try to do more and more purchases, and he or she will recommend your website to the other people. That makes your customer base a very good. So that's what the digital tool is in nowadays, and it makes more and more simpler for the business who are running an online platform. But when we do it in a traditional way of method, these are really not possible because traditional way have its doesn't have these type of luxuries which a digital tool have. So in this session, we try to understand what is digitalization, what is importance, and what are the advantages, and why we should use that digital tool in our business model and as well as in our personal life. So we came to this end of the session where we are in the earlier where I told you that we will be dealing a case study which dealing with a QR code. You all know about what is a QR code, what has its function, what is why it is so trendy, why it is so cool, and why it is so much used in today's situation, because everyone wants the, whether you call a payment section, whether you call anything, even the information about any product, it makes it easier by this QR code. So that is why my case study actually based on cinemas and entertainment industry, which nowadays everybody is, whether in this business or not, I have no clue. But the people who are in this particular industry, I have something to say about this case study, because entertainment industry, everybody likes it. Everybody likes movies. You all know it has its own impact. It has its own uh, good points, bad points. Everybody in every business does have it. So if you are in a particular in a movie and entertainment sector, you need to be stay ahead with the latest trends to keep yourself updated and the audience to be really engaged. And you also know that QR code can potentially help you to do it in your this particular sector. So over even a last decades or a couple of years, you can say there has been an increase in a which you call a smartphone penetration, and which has a very high access to the internet. These factors have made the QR code popular because whenever you are having that internet connection, so QR code plays its own part when it is nowadays in a very increasing part. Hence, they are now being in used in various, and it is not only used in entertainment industry, but it is also used in various other industries. So, one thing which comes in my mind is that when we are talking about the people who are in this particular sector, they have a lot of challenges, they have a lot of difficulties. I would not suggest that every industry doesn't have a problem or doesn't have any challenges. I can't say that, but we can simplify those things to make it more easier for both the business and the consumer, because nowadays everybody wants to see in a consumer point of view, because they want that how much we can try to simplify the things for the consumer. They want to try to make the things more and more easier. So the question which comes into my mind, what where the QR codes can be used in a movie and entertainment industry. So when we are talking about a QR code in movies, it is a new way of engaging with the audience, because everybody wants to watch movie, everybody wants to have a great ambience when they're visiting any theater. So, when we are talking about this point, so doing something remarkable is one of the critical strategies in a film marketing. This is one of the things which is a strategy, you can say it, to engage the audience with your movie. So, and creating a buzz in a film content. So, when you are popularizing about your film, so that it should be have a good content to it. So the marketers and the film buffs try to get an interactivity, and it is like try to engage the audience with this particular way by giving a short clip about the movie so that they understand what is that movie all about. Nowadays everybody tries to get a synopsis for the movies, whether to watch it or not, because that is the main question when they are visiting to some theater. That is why you can use this QR code in movies to engage your audience while promoting your movies. So there have been over a year, there has been an significant increase in smartphone users to access this internet, to access to get to know about the movies which are in which theaters, what are the synopses of the movie. So this is why the QR code comes in the picture, and it plays an important part through it. So that is why QR code is really important if you are in this particular section. So the second point comes in earlier. The second point which I come into the mind, that it should ensure a hassle-free check-in in theaters. That is, everybody wants it. Nobody wants to be a very hectic or something like that, very complicated or something. So according to me, it's a very common use of the QR codes, where it you would be seeing them on the movie tickets or everywhere you see this QR code, because you always want a hassle free entry in the theater. Once you book a ticket online, you can show it off in the soft copy to check in. So the person authorizing it gets to know whether this ticket is a valid or not. Since scanning this QR code takes 2 or 3 a second, and this process becomes faster and smoother, because when you scan it, you get the authenticity of that particular ticket, the ticket number, and the person who has collected it. It does two things when you scan this QR code. So first thing which is into this, while you ensure that it should be an hassle-free entrance to the movie theaters, first it saves us uh, time for the people from waiting in the long queues. And secondly, it helps the theater authority to validate those entries securely without installing any very high cost setup. So It only requires a smartphone to just scan it and validate all the entries. So these are the two main things which all you also want, and it is most helpful between the consumer as well as for the business, because nowadays the business wants to be make it easier, not to complicate the things for the people. Third point which comes into your mind, it is more of a strategy, a marketing strategy for the movies and entertainment industry. You can try to create a buzz about your upcoming movie, because it should go the knowledge to everybody. So create this a buzz. A trailer can be released before the movie, because when the movie is like releasing on 21st, and you can release a trailer about this movie. It tells about the movie to the audience, what is this plot about, or what is this cast, so the audience can watch the trailer and to decide whether to watch the movie or not, because this is a critical thing about the people, that if they are giving that money to watch this particular movie, so they should know about what is the plot, what is the cast, each and everything, and whether it is good to watch or not. And now there are parameters that it should be good for the children also or not. So there are a lot of parameters when the people tries to watch some movies. So releasing of the trailer is not only enough, but you need to promote it as well. Since when the trailer reach out to a large number of audience, so you can expect a good response from them. But for this, you need the promotion to be online and offline both. Then only you can reach more and more people. So because of this, digital promotion are readable, and they don't need to the end user to put much effort. But on the other hand, you can promote, you can get those attention by promoting this on a digital platform, by doing it in printing in the media or the flyers. That makes it easier for you to grab more and more attention for the people, because releasing of a trailer is a one thing, but promoting for it is the other thing, and which requires an effort, that the people should watch your movie, the person should come to your theater. That everyone has this point in their mind, that the audience should watch their movie, and that is the main thing. Every sector have should have that customer base. Even in a movies and entertainment industry, they requires that part more and more to make it successful. Even if it's a movie, or if it is a drama, if it is even a serials, they want audience to watch it, because it requires the TRP to go up. So this is about the movie and the strategy. So this is one more strategy which every industry requires it, that to offer discount coupons to the people, to the audience. So offers and discounts are the great way, at least is the easiest way, or you can say it's a great way for the uh, attract to the audience most. To offer discounts gives away the promo codes. When you offer discount, there are some promo codes. The audience can use their codes while booking a ticket for that particular movie. So for this, when you are trying to give this promo code, the QR code, which are called as, you can create it as a coupon QR code, and when you scan this coupon QR code, it shows you the promo code, and a description and option to apply it. Because with this coupon QR code, you have all the description about what the promo code is all about, what the discounts they are giving, and so it makes it easier for audience when they're booking it, and they can even share this coupon QR code. Make it that simpler, so that the audience would be really happy while doing it online, because they are a platform where you can book it online movies. So make it easier. If you have this type of a facility, that makes it easier for the consumer to come back and again. So my other point would be to get the reviews and the ratings, which is almost very effective for every industry, because everybody wants the feedback about their movie. So customer ratings and reviews are really important for the business. They help to know about what your audience expects, and how has your performance been? So to help your potential customer decide whether uh, they use their service or not. But since submitting this online review is a tedious task, so many people don't bother. You all know many people don't bother. Even sometimes I don't bother to give a feedback. So in a business, when you are doing in any sector of the business, you can apply this QR code to get this customer reviews. While when they have like purchased the ticket, they have watched the movie, you can just provide in a sense of a message that how would you rate that movie, how did you like the experience while coming to that particular theater, or what improvisation would you require, there was something you need to add. So this type of a feedback you can add it online, you can give a message to the customer that makes it really easy to understand what the customer requires from you, and what you can improvise to get the customer happy. And so that is the one thing which all every sector required. It's not, I'm not only talking about uh, only just one or two sector. Every sector requires the same thing. So my second point comprises of creating an engaging promotional advertisement, which is really really required. So how do you do it for the upcoming movies? So this is a promotional strategy, which I can say to make it use of a QR code. So movie posters can give limited info. You all know when you are seeing a digital signage or something, you can only get a limited information about the upcoming movies. So if you want your customer to know about the movies, you can give this QR code. You can display this QR code on each movie poster, so that it directs, when it scans, it directs the users to and to the movie trailer, so that with this QR code, the customer would not have that hassle to search about the movie or about the content of the movie. So this QR code you can print on the poster, so they can just redirect to that particular page and they can understand what is that movie all about. So they don't have to go here and there, they can direct to one page, and that is what every person requires when they are looking for something. They don't want to waste the time. My last point is social media followers. You can increase, you can boost up that. So nowadays, people spend a lot of time in a social media platform. Utilizing that platform uh, in your marketing endeavor is a huge loss of opportunities while you're doing in a traditional way. But in a social media, if you're doing it, it makes it easier. It may have a good more and more opportunities to grab more and more people over there, because the people nowadays are mostly in social media. They always look for something new, because you get the advertisement for a product, you get an advertisement for a movie, you get an advertisement of uh, ingredient or anything about a school, about education, about anything. So these are all printed nowadays on a social media, and where it gets more and more encouragement, and it grab more and more attention of the people. That's what awareness, the word is awareness. The people gets aware in social media rather than going for a traditional way to looking at the flyers or something. So it would be much easier when you are in social media. So social media can easily promote your cinema service, and even the brand building awareness can be also there. When you are into this particular field, you can also do these things to make it more and more popular for the audience, so that they should understand what you are serving and what is that all about. It can also increase your online traffic, because when you are posting it on a social media, it makes it easier. So this is how you can boost your social media platform by using a social media QR code, and this QR code display and links all your social media profile. That makes it easier. Whenever they visit your website, you should have your social media linked to it so that they can direct to the same. Landing page should be accurate, and which makes it easier for the people to understand what are the upcoming movies, what are the discounts you're giving, what are the offers are there, what are the services are there. So it makes it easier, and it makes your business more and more easy to do. So, in today's session, in this case study, you understand what all points you can do. You can do a hassle free check in the theaters, you can create a buzz about your upcoming movies. You can offer the discounts, you can get the ratings of the customers, and you can also engage a promotional advertisement for the consumers, and you can also increase your social media followers. That is what it's all about, because in every industry these are the things which everybody wants, that their business should be flourishing. Even if you are in some other sector also, you required all these things, all these points to be implemented, and QR code makes the things more and more easier for it. And that is what it is really means. It has its own impact, it has its own value. So in today's digitalization, you came to know about the digitalization, you came to know about a case study with the movies and entertainment industry with while using this QR code. So I'll be talking about a little about my company, because I'm working with a Uxlivinglab, and its main business is to execute qualitative and quantitative research for the clients for their services or for the products. And the main question which comes into your mind, that is, how do we do it? So we used to take the consumer insight, and then we try to understand where the product is actually standing in the market, and we try to figure it out, and we try to give a strategy or try to innovate the product for the client. That's what we do. So if you want to know more about our company, how it works, what are the features, what are the pricing, we will try to help you out. We will also try to give you a calendar link for the same, so that you can make an appointment. You don't need to stand in a queue for your service to be done. So we can give you that part also easily. And if you have any other comments, or you can visit this website also, try to understand. If you get some difficulty into that, please let me know so that I can help you out in this case. Thank you so much for joining this session.